For more exclusive content from CNBC Crypto Trader, hit the subscribe button now.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in crypto.
Consensus was high, there were some savvy traders who were forecasting such a pullback, including Tone Vays and Peter Brandt. You're calling a correction of now over 50%. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe not 50, but I'm looking for a correction between 33% and about 40 and change.
But you said, so you haven't even declared it into the bear market?
I have not.
Tone,
I'm still skeptical.
Tone, what is it going to take to convince you that the bear market is finished?
I need to witness a pullback and a new swing high. I'm a big believer that markets move with higher lows and higher highs. We are working at a higher high. We have not had a pullback. The pullback, we're going to have a pullback. If that pullback is very bad, we'll just keep going down and make a new low. But if that pullback is only 30 to 40%, and then I see strength, buying at that around 4,000 or 5,000, I'll be back in, declare an end, and be bullish at that level. I believe that I will still get a good chance to buy Bitcoin at a much lower price than right now.
We've gone over $8,000 to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Are you expecting a pullback?
Yeah, I mean, where it goes, I have no idea. I really thought we could go to 66, 6,800, and we could hiccup at that level and possibly retest. We haven't, and we've blown through that. So does that mean we at some point go into a big congestion area and maybe retest the 5,700, 6,000 level, or do we just simply go parabolic from here? I don't think we just go parabolic from here. It's going to make dumb money chase it. No matter what, it's going to make dumb money chase it. And so that's my frame of reference, is that smart money will buy significant corrections in this market of $500 to $1,000, and dumb money will chase it when it's on the bulge. And so I'll trade it accordingly.
Do you then hold the position up until today, or are you in and out consistently?
No, I took some profits today, light profits, very light profits.
Always remember, take profits. Regardless of the price action, this is a big week for crypto going mainstream. It seems like everyone in blockchain and getting into blockchain is right here at Consensus. Coinbase, Ethereum, Ripple, Tron, Cardano, eToro, Microsoft, IBM, project after project after project, VCs, funds, investors, traders, and even a presidential candidate, an SEC commissioner, Ron Paul, and the US Congressman sponsoring the Token Taxonomy Act.
My offering is this bill, the Token Taxonomy Act. My goal is to provide legislative certainty, light touch that keeps the capital formation happening.
All right, so all in all, we are making progress. You're not going to tell us anything about an ETF. I can see that on your face.
Yeah, sorry, can't tell you where things stand or what will happen, but I'm still optimistic. Don't hold your breath. And market manipulation are still issues that get lots of attention at the SEC.
Consensus came with announcement after announcement. Perhaps the most significant announcement was that Microsoft announced that it's building identity solutions on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's very important that they mentioned the Bitcoin blockchain. Amazon announced its new managed blockchain services on Hyperledger and soon Ethereum. Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong said that they've now got $1 billion under management in their custodian services.
Yeah, I mean in 2018 we grew 2.6x. We try to think of it as like 70-20-10 in the sense of 70% of our business is really just exchange and 20% of our investment is kind of in these adjacent bets, like we're building out a custodian for institutions, which is helping a whole bunch of money flow into the space there. And then 10% of what we do is kind of more of our venture bets.
Everywhere we looked, we found industry insiders building. Here's Ripple CTO David Swartz playing up Ripple's Interledger and micropayment system. From there, we went next door and heard Vlad Zamfir talking about Casper Labs' advancements. There have been a lot of questions about this, but it seems that Vlad Zamfir is all in on Casper Labs. And downstairs, there was Joseph Lubin, co-founder of Ethereum and head of Consensus, who we had on our show last week discussing the Ethereum 2.0 rollout.
We can perhaps tokenize gold.
So that was Joseph Lubin, and speaking of Joseph Lubin took a bet with Jimmy Song. Jimmy, what was this bet about?
Well, it was a bet from last year where Joseph Lubin said that there would be lots of DApps by 2023, and I said that there wouldn't. So we made a bet about it.
So what's the bet? What are the terms?
It has to be 5 decentralized applications on Ethereum with 10,000 daily active users and 100,000 monthly active users over any 6-month period, any 6 months within a 12-month period. Yeah.
Now, if you win, what do you win?
I win about 70 Bitcoin.
And if you lose, what do you pay?
About 810 Ethereum.
Okay, this is a significant bet. This is over $500,000 bet. Are you confident?
Yeah.
Why?
If you look from 2013, 2014, 2015, I mean, ICOs and blockchain projects and things like that are not new.
Now, Jimmy,
none of them have done anything.
Debatable at best. Now, I made a bet of my own with another Bitcoin bull. Again, Tone. Tone, do you ever think we'll see a Bitcoin of $4,000 again?
I do.
Are you willing to take me a bet?
Are we going to drop below 4? I need the odds a little more in my favor.
4.2.
Under 4.5.
4.2, come on, Tone.
Under 4.5.
What are we betting?
I don't know, what do you want to bet?
$100 that Bitcoin won't be under 4,500.
Oh yeah, that's easy. I can go 100.
What's the time frame?
Halving? Before the halving.
That's almost a year.
Yeah, before the halving.
Done. While Tone may be cautious, we caught up with one of our recurring chartists, Peter Brunt, who still thinks Bitcoin is going parabolic. Now, you were on our show a few weeks ago and you gave us a chart and you told us that Bitcoin was going parabolic, and you said it was going parabolic for the 3rd time, and you also said that you'd never seen this in your trading life, an asset going parabolic 3 times.
I don't understand it. I trade charts because I believe that what charts do is they give me a pretty good indication of what chump money is doing and what real smart money is doing. That's why I thought it was going parabolic, as we collapsed from just under 20,000 down to just over 3,000. We washed out all of those late 2017 bulls, went into accumulation by smart money, and then when we came up out of here, it looked to me like we had a really great chart bottom.
Until the curve goes parabolic.
Well, I look at it pretty simply. I think Bitcoin has a 50% chance to go to $50,000 to $100,000 and a 50% chance to go to 0. And I'm very simplistic, and when I think of it that way, I just see this as an enormous asymmetrically profitable trade. The potential is so much greater than the risk. It's, for me, kind of a no-brain trade.
And that's coming from a chartist. A no-brain trade, pullbacks and all. So let's check in with our contributor Lindsay Jew to get a sense of what Consensus is thinking of the market.
Thanks, Ran. We're at Consensus. The market's up. Let's see what people think. What do you guys think of the market right now? Any thoughts?
Fantastic.
Fantastic?
Definitely you're starting to see some positive movements forward. I think you're starting to see some frowns turn into reserve smiles.
Sentiment is really high. What are people picking?
I think Bitcoin and then everything else follows.
What about you? What are you picking in the market right now?
Right now, definitely Bitcoin.
What do you like in the market right now?
I like the top players. I mean, Bitcoin works. It's been around for 10 years. I like Ethereum, but the competitors to Ethereum are really starting to come up. I think there's a lot more developers on Stellar now. There's a lot on, actually, surprisingly, EOS.
I look at the token price as more of a sentiment of public, I would say, support. for the industry.
The more and more tools that are out there to support businesses using crypto, I think the market will keep growing.
People are excited. The energy's good. There's a lot of good news coming out, Whole Foods and a couple other big things happening.
And I think probably more importantly, people have been waiting for users and waiting for applications, and I believe the market action is now in anticipation of that. It's just around the corner.
What do you think of the market right now?
I think the volumes are generally fake, almost always.
Let's not get too crazy. You know, the euphoria may lead people to make some bad decisions, but just believe in the structural change that's coming through.
You know, I think 6,200 was a good technical indicator for Bitcoin, so I actually expected things to come back down a little bit before they kept going up.
But you know, given that it actually climbed a lot during the past several days, there may be some corrections. So if there is any correction, it's a good time to buy.
Will the market keep going up, you think, or will there be a pullback?
But then, you know, it could be, you know, back to 7 in a heartbeat, so you never know.
So there's been a lot of Bitcoin talk, but what about alts? We go back to Jimmy's song on that bet to examine some other blockchains, including Justin Sun. Are you willing to take this bet on any blockchain other than Bitcoin, or is this strictly...
Yeah, I am.
So if Justin Sun came to you and said, I'm willing to take you that bet on Tron, would you take the bet?
Likely. I would have to work out the terms with him, but yeah, and I would have to be assured that he's not able to game the system for himself, but yeah.
But you're saying no blockchain in the world, other than the Bitcoin blockchain, will have more than 5 dApps with 10,000 active...
daily active users, yeah.
So you know what? I've got Justin Sun up next, and I'm going to make sure that he actually takes the bet with you. Justin, I'm coming to get you. I've got Justin Sun with me, and this is the only guy that gets more flack on Twitter than me. Justin, welcome back to Crypto Trader.
Yeah, welcome.
Buddy, you get a lot of flack on Twitter. I mean, you have people that really like you and Tron, and then you get a lot of those people who are give you a lot of flack. What's the roots of all of that?
I think I even like not only retweet the person, contribute to Tron, even the people criticizing or make fun of Tron. Sometimes I also retweeted that because I think this is kind of like the part of the community meme, you know.
Let's talk about Tron and let's put the memes aside for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Big announcements from Tron here at Consensus. There have been a lot of announcements from a lot of companies.
Yeah.
Tron has a lot of branding. We've seen it everywhere.
Yeah.
What's happening in Tron?
So basically, in this week, we will release our new version of the Zen network, which adding the ZK Snack technology into Tron network. So first, we will introduce into the private network we are building. It's a demo tab this week. And then in the following week, we will introduce the Zen network on the Tron testnet. And then we will release on the mainnet. So basically, this is the first amazing things happening in Tron. And also the same time, you know, it's a big thing come for BTT, like the BitTorrent.
Yeah, I want to talk about BitTorrent.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, BitTorrent is the monster here.
Yeah.
This is the one application where we think we can get a lot of mainstream adoption.
Exactly.
And there've been a lot of criticisms about changing a torrent to a system of payment.
Yeah.
Is it that big?
First of all, definitely. I mean, recently I just go over the data with our chief data scientist. He said like the number change is huge. The improvement of the BitTorrent protocol itself is tremendous. Not mention the cryptocurrency introducing to the BitTorrent network. I mean, everything is fantastic. And also, recently the DAO, MAO, the monthly active user, daily active user of the BitTorrent also increased dramatically. I think after Q2, we will have most active users, EOS and Ethereum combined.
There are a lot of critics, and I think the critics don't celebrate your success. They don't celebrate that, you've been involved in building a protocol, you've been involved in bringing BitTorrent onto the crypto world.
Yeah.
Do you think that criticism is justified? Do you think that they can justify you for forking in Ethereum. I mean, that's what all these critics say.
Yeah, first of all, I think competition breeds success for the industry itself, you know. So basically, recently we see lots of changes, also good changes happening in the Ethereum. I think it's partially due to the Trump, right? If there is no competitor, Ethereum won't have the motivation to change.
All right, now the big question.
Yeah.
You and Vitalik.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a friendship?
Yeah.
Are you guys friends? Do you guys speak other than on Twitter?
I consider him like a friend because I have known him since like 2015. He literally come to our office to meet me in the office in Beijing at that time.
Justin, thank you for coming on Crypto Trader.
Thank you so
Great
much.
pleasure.
Yes, thank you.
Now, one of Vitalik's true longtime friends and colleagues, Vlad Zamfir, has made headlines of his own recently, partnering up with Casper Labs to build their own scalable blockchain. And with me just off the stage, I've got Vlad Zamfir and Meta Palika. Guys, how are you enjoying Consensus 2019?
It's been terrific so far. Lots of great companies doing great things in the space.
So let's talk about CBC Casper. What is CBC Casper?
So CBC Casper is a family of consensus protocols that satisfy the same theorems about the consistency of decisions.
And does that allow for decentralization and at the same time consensus?
Well, it's a consensus protocol which, with a bunch of other components, could be a public blockchain. And if you do it right, it could be decentralized.
How are you guys actually planning to achieve this? Or what makes you think that you can actually solve this problem, the problem of the blockchain trilemma?
Right. The protocol itself is very different from proof of work. Proof of work, you can imagine, has this built-in throttle where a block producer has to jump through a whole bunch of hoops before they can even propose a block. The CBC Casper protocol secures the blockchain through stake, enabling validators to produce blocks much more frequently. And we also have this notion of a DAG, which has multiple parents. So instead of having just a serial blockchain, we can have many blocks be parents of a child block, which enables for greater concurrency and scalability.
Now, some viewers may look at this and say, you know, is this not in competition with Ethereum? Is Ethereum not also competing to be this big blockchain that does many transactions? I don't see it that way. I trust that you guys don't see it that way. How do you guys see it?
Not at all. I mean, our project is also open source, and we see ourselves as being in a great position to do the research for Ethereum, kind of like the explorers that are going to Mars, you know, where Ethereum has to take care of its stakeholders and a lot of the economic value that's on the chain. We can do a lot more than exploratory and experimental research and absolutely share it with Ethereum.
We're skeptical that if you launch now, it's going to be much more difficult to build a meaningful community.
100%. I mean, we absolutely need a community. We need to have governance, decentralized governance. I think that's one of the super important pieces of the blockchain, is having a community of developers and community members that are invested in the blockchain and its success, that support it, contribute to it, and participate in it. So absolutely, building a community is top of mind for our project.
Vlad, you've been involved here. I think you mentioned he's the chief architect of the system. Having seen what you've seen here, do you think
Well, you know, I've been working on this protocol for a long time for that purpose. And I think specifically, though, the sharding is going to be required for the high transaction throughput. You know, and I think like sharding and proof of stake is kind of the future of the blockchain space, and I've been saying that for a long time.
So you're excited?
I'm definitely excited about seeing these implementations, seeing CBC Casper protocol implemented, adopted, seeing people build on it, and seeing people learn about it.
Well, we'll keep our eye out and see how you guys are progressing. Thank you very much for joining Crypto Trader. Also keeping an eye on all these so-called Ethereum killers is Olaf Carlson-Wee, founder of Polychain, aptly named for the various investments they've made. He sat down with Laura Shin, the host of the Unchained podcast, to talk outlook and strategy.
2017, when I put you on the cover of Forbes, that year you returned 2,300% to your LPs, and last year, amid the broader downturn of the 80%, your fund lost 40%. And so we were just talking about how this is kind of a crypto winter. Where do you think we are in the technology cycle?
Yeah, so I think that 2017, as many of you probably know, was very much a year of fundraising.
So there was a huge amount of money put into new layer 1 protocols, new crypto tokens, as well as more traditional equity-based businesses. I think that 2019 is turning out to be sort of the year of launches. So just a month ago, we saw the launch of a project called Cosmos, and a lot of these are really sophisticated projects that haven't launched yet. So these are things like Dfinity, Polkadot, Filecoin, that are really ambitious projects, and a lot of them have been in the works, in some cases, for as long as 5 years.
Here we are, everybody's sort of waiting for Ethereum 2.0, like this more scalable version of Ethereum, but obviously it's not going to be delivered for quite a while. And So what's your take on that competition?
So I really believe in a polychain world. And what I mean by that is, to me, Ethereum wasn't trying to build a better Bitcoin. It was trying to build a new platform that could do new use cases that was not possible with the prior Bitcoin technology. So you mentioned like Tezos. Tezos is really about the ability to formally upgrade the code of the blockchain through on-chain voting using coins of actual code repositories. In my mind, while some people could pigeonhole Tezos as, oh, just another smart contract platform, in my mind, that's expanding on something that Ethereum is really not aiming to do. Ethereum will probably never have that sort of on-chain governance, and so in my mind, a project like Tezos, like you mentioned, isn't really competing with trying to win this sort of ICO platform or something like that.
Polychain is doubling down, and we're going to take a break. Coming up, we'll take a deep dive into the projects making all the big announcements right here at Consensus.
Got your mochaccino?
Did you just drink my coffee?
It's taking my commission. Nothing's free today.
Actually.
eToro introduces 100% stocks, 0% commission. Join and invest in stocks from the world's top exchanges with no commission. eToro. Join now.
We're back, and we're taking you inside Consensus like no other crypto news outlet can, where the entire crypto community really comes together. Everyone's here, from founders to crypto Twitter, Wall Street types, VCs, everyday crypto traders, podcasters like Peter McCormack, and industry insiders like PR guru David Waxman.
Let's talk about the biggest news that came out of Consensus this year. In your mind, what were the big stories that came out of here?
By far and away, Bitcoin 8,000. What you are seeing is everyone walking in these floors, they're talking about how Bitcoin's back. They're talking about how crypto's back. And I'm telling you, it's electric.
Isn't the price movement as a result of news?
They've gone from that, you're right. Bitcoin was a swear word. Blockchain was bad. And today, it's back in the mainstream, and we're seeing the excitement here.
Will this last?
So the market activity, I don't know. But I will tell you this, all the IQ points flooding into blockchain, they're here to stay. And we've seen major superstars, people who've been building for a long time, here with new announcements.
Any other big news? Come on, I'm trying to get the big stories from you.
Oh, to me, I'm seeing a lot of big news. I'm hearing things about ETFs that are at least undergoing regulatory scrutiny by the SEC. I'm hearing about other countries that are approving exchanges to go online with new types of products. I'm seeing all this type of activity, and I think that some of that's being priced in to where crypto is today.
David, thank you so much for coming, Crypto Trader.
Right, we've hit our limit. I just want to say thank you to everyone on the panel.
Peter, how's Consensus 2019 been for you?
A lot better than last year. Last year was kind of disgusting. It was too crowded, too many people, too many stupid ICOs. This year's a bit more sensible. It's a bit more kind of like the finance pros are here, a bit more Bitcoin. So I kind of enjoyed it a lot more this year.
Now, why did the price move during Consensus? I mean, we've heard many theories. What's your theory? What caused this price move?
I mean, who knows? Look, more buyers and sellers is the old argument. You could say it's a consensus pump. You could say it's just, it's just the timing of the market. The market cycle we seem to have had a bottom. We didn't seem to want to go below kind of 3,200. But we've had some interesting announcements. The Microsoft announcement that they're building on Bitcoin, but the Walgreens announcement. So there's lots happening. I mean, it can be a whole bunch of things. I think most likely it's got nothing to do with consensus. I think it's really just to do with the market structure.
Peter McCormack hosts his wildly popular What Bitcoin Did podcasts and moderated quite the panel of projects innovating lending on the blockchain, featuring the ever-controversial OG Alex Mashinsky from Celsius Network, one of the many projects making headlines this week.
End up with the 1% controlling all your assets and not making you earn anything.
With me, I've got Alex Mashinsky from the Celsius Network, and he's also got a big announcement. Alex, what's the big announcement coming out of Celsius?
Well, we just crossed $200 million in assets under management, deposits from our community. We doubled our AUM in 1 month, and we've concluded more than 100,000 trades, loans, issuing $1.2 billion worth of loans. That's 3 times more than all of our competitors put together.
Let me make sure that I understand the model. So I give you my coins, but specifically my Bitcoin.
Yes.
You then lend it out to hedge funds and institutions who need to use Bitcoin.
Who give us collateral, right? So we only lend against collateral.
And then you pay me 6%. You pay me 6%.
We charge them 8 to 9%, and we give you, the depositor, 80% back of what we earn.
What do you think caused the price move this week?
So it's several things, but the one thing I think that is the most important element, the tension between the United States and China, are finally making Bitcoin as the doomsday safe haven that we were all hoping for. For 10 years we were waiting for that to happen, but it hasn't happened. And it's funny enough that finally there's enough risk going on that people are basically deciding I have to put 1% of my assets into this non-correlated asset class. Last week, Bitfinex was still at a 7% premium to Coinbase. With this move that we've seen, with this doubling, Coinbase is trading ahead of Bitfinex. So what that tells you is that all the new money that's coming in is coming in from US and institutional retail players. It's not coming from Asia.
So that's revolutionary lending on the blockchain. And trying to revolutionize the nascent security token ecosystem is Polymath, teaming up with an unlikely partner in Charles Hoskinson.
Consensus is known for its big announcements, and we can see that reflected by the price of Bitcoin this week. So many announcements, and the price of Bitcoin simply reflects it. There's another big announcement here today. Trevor, what is the big announcement?
Well, we're very excited to announce a new initiative to launch a layer 1 security token blockchain. We think right now there's a big gap in the market for a purpose-built custom blockchain for security tokens, and that's what Charles and I partnered up on for, it's called Polymesh.
Charles, you were brought onto this project to help design the blockchain. Tell us a little bit about the design.
So one of the things we first recognized is that if you look at a normal public blockchain system, basically that design is everybody's equal. It's a homogeneous system. So whether you're a regulator, you're an issuer, you're a buyer, a seller, you have the same role, right, responsibility within the network. So one of the first things we recognize is you need to build a hybrid architecture. You need to say that there are going to be certain parts of the system which are permissioned and private, and certain parts of the system that are open and public. And then you can assign different roles and responsibilities to regulators and other types of actors, so they have a little bit more power, maybe to freeze a transaction, reverse a transaction, take a look at an audit trail, whereas other actors can't do that.
Is there nothing that we can use that's existing instead of recreating another blockchain, maintaining another blockchain, building a community around another blockchain?
So I think this is one of those cases where not only does Polymesh have the right to exist, it's actually necessary for us to get to the STO revolution. And furthermore, that there's a good evidence of that from just traction of STOs. There's a desire to create liquidity, there's a desire to create these assets, but where are they at in CoinMarketCap? Where are they at in terms of trading? They're not where they need to be. So we need a revolution on the infrastructure to be able to deliver the STO revolution.
So we think a security token blockchain needs to be thought very meticulously through and built from the ground up, and this is something you can't just back into if you already do something else.
We'll keep our eyes open. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Also delivering on infrastructure is Blockstream, literally putting the Bitcoin blockchain on satellites and opening their liquid DEX exchange.
So I attended a presentation a few days ago, and I saw that you guys at Blockstream were working on some way of sending transactions up to space or confirming transactions up in space. How does that work?
Yeah, so it's been running for over a year now, and we late last year we added additional coverage, so we have nearly complete global coverage of the full population. So it's 4 geosynchronous satellites, 5 coverage zones, and what it's doing is it's broadcasting in real time Bitcoin transactions and blocks. So the point is it avoids network disruption for businesses who really need redundant internet connections.
And you can broadcast your transactions directly into the satellite.
So you receive the transactions from the satellite, and to broadcast them back, so you need to use other networking technology. And as a partnership with GoTenor, where we launched an ability to send transactions out through the GoTenor mesh network. Somebody would want to have access to their money in a time when there's political turmoil in their country, and in extreme circumstances, governments have shut off the internet in times of a coup, or in some countries during the Arab Spring. And what this allows is for people to continue to transact at a time when it really matters, to access their insurance policy of Bitcoin's.
Unbelievable.
Truly unbelievable. Transacting on Bitcoin without internet.
You can carry on watching live coverage from Consensus just after the break.
The VideoCoin network ushers in the new cloud by harnessing underutilized computing resources from around the world to revolutionize the video industry on the blockchain. Powered by a decentralized video ecosystem, it transforms cloud video into an optimized, algorithmically driven market. This allows us to deliver revolutionary price efficiencies, much like Airbnb and Uber. Join the VideoCoin revolution at videocoin.io.
Now for some more market highlights, let's cross over to Lindsay Drew on the floor at Consensus.
We're here with Chainlink. They just broke some big news and we're here to find out more about it.
Yeah, so we're going to be launching Chainlink on the Ethereum mainnet, and what that means is that on Ethereum now you'll have something called decentralized oracles, and that'll allow people to build contracts that can talk with external data. So
and where will we be seeing that used?
So that's going to power things like financial products like derivatives, insurance products, supply chain trade finance products, all the really exciting use cases of smart contracts.
Okay, it sounds like that you had enterprise in mind for this solution.
Well, yeah, it works for both public chains and more enterprise-focused solutions. Realistically, I think there's a lot of great use cases on public chains and enterprise both. So once contracts can know about market events or insurance events or shipping events, then you can write them around those types of events. So that expansion is really exciting for us because it could take the entire space in an entirely new direction that isn't just token movement. It's how do we write the smart contracts that are smart about very valuable interactions, contractual interactions.
What are you working on at BRD?
We have a lot of really great features coming out this year. One of them is that we're going to be adding more coins. People have been requesting more coins for a long time, and we've finally built the architecture to support that.
What we're doing is we're bringing corporates together to embrace it. We've done a few things that are interesting, and we've announced a few partners. So this week we announced Deutsche Telekom, we announced Swisscom, we joined the Hyperledger Foundation. We're doing a whole bunch of interesting stuff with Nomura over in Japan, one of the larger banks over there. You've got institutions that are curious about how this is going to be disruptive for them in their core businesses.
What news does TokenSoft have coming out?
So TokenSoft, in addition to announcing some big global clients, we mentioned we have our new consulting practice focused towards enterprise and banks and institutions. We also have our Knox wallet that's being used for issuance and management and custody of digital assets. And I think we'll have a couple of more big announcements to come in the next months.
Real business impact. Have you seen some of that here at Consensus this week?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I'm a venture capitalist as well as a faculty member at Harvard Business School, so obviously my companies I'm most excited about, but I'm seeing improvements in scalability and institutional custody in particular, which are two important areas. So Bloxroute is one of our companies that's launching their scalability platform tomorrow and announcing what they've achieved on the Bitcoin network. And then Curve is one of our companies in the institutional custody space that launched on Monday their partnership with Munich Re. So some really large enterprises getting into these important building blocks for the space.
Tell me a little bit about Decent and what you guys are working on right now.
We make the world's first biometric wallet, and we're in the business of making cryptocurrency management easier. This is not connected to the internet. So all the secure information in here, the sensitive information in here, we can keep safe from hackers and malicious software.
And for some more insight on Consensus, well, let's turn to me, but as featured on Block TV. So here at Consensus 2019, we've been doing interviews at the Crypto Trader booth. There aren't many other mainstream media channels here, but we do have a whole lot of newcomers, and amongst them is the Block TV.
The man.
Hello guys, hello. So I've been coming to this conference for quite a few years, and
you've been here since 2015, right?
Yeah, 2 years ago when I came here, there was a Consensus run, and the mood was about the same as it is now. But when I was here last year, it was a completely different mood.
Right. I think even big institutions understand they cannot ignore this new kid on the block anymore, so to speak.
And a lot of big announcements coming out here at Consensus. It's crazy. I mean, we've had announcement after announcement after announcement. It seems like the companies have kept these announcements under wraps and said, we're going to release them all on New York Blockchain Week.
What was the announcement that got you the most excited?
Definitely Microsoft. So if history is going to repeat itself, and I'm not talking about last year, I'm talking about the year before, right. That would make it 2017. We had a huge run during Consensus. We had a bit of a pullback
But then straight after that, we had a huge run, an unparalleled run.
Right.
And that took us to the Bitcoin of $19,000. So I'm not saying that's going to happen again. I'm just merely looking back at history to see.
And he said the right word. There's enough drama to tell a story. And there are enough stories here.
Speaking of drama, you guys launched in the middle of the bear market. That couldn't have been easy.
It wasn't easy, but I think we have the tools in place. And our goal was to be here, and this is where we are, ready for when the markets pick up, and to become the go-to source for blockchain cryptocurrency news.
It was perfect timing.
So these are our friends at the Block TV, and we need to support these guys. These guys are bringing us 24/7, 365 blockchain news. And let me tell you, I've been on their shows a few times, and I've listened a lot, and these guys are the business. You can carry on watching live coverage from Consensus just after the break.
Welcome to Banking on the Blockchain.
I got to work on Voice over IP. I was one of the original inventors of the protocols which enabled billions of people to communicate for free. The internet is 25 years old now, and one industry in specific that did not get disrupted at all is the financial industry. They are more concentrated today than ever. The blockchain is the best opportunity we have to replace the banks with a system that is doing what is in our best interest. Celsius Network enables people from all over the world to access a wallet that enables them to earn return on their coins as well as borrow dollars against their crypto. Celsius is not something new and different than what I've done my entire career. And I think now is a great time to come and replace centralized banks and toll collectors with decentralized open architecture, peer-to-peer lending.
So we've seen some projects making headlines, but these days the IEO model, or initial exchange offering, is drawing much attention as the next fundraising vehicle. Here's a look at how they're being executed.
IEOs. Are they just another form of ICOs? Are investors going to carry on investing in these things and eventually getting wrecked? With me, I've got Shachaf from a company called Coty. Now, for full disclosure, I am an advisor to this company, and so we're not going to talk about the company. All we're going to talk about is the process of an IEO and the thought process behind it. Shachaf, welcome back to Crypto Trader.
Thank you so much. Pleasure being here again.
Shachaf, IEOs, it's a big buzzword, and we've had some successes and some failures. Is there a benefit to doing IEOs? What's the thinking behind it?
Well, while most people think that IEOs are about fundraising, it's actually more about marketing and engagement to a greater community. So when you do an IEO, you actually reach out to the exchange-specific community and make all these people part of your ecosystem. So now they are a supporter of the projects because they have a vested interest.
Okay, now let's talk about the process of running an IEO. You guys at Coty, you raised money a while back. I know you've got a very healthy business in the payment sphere. What's the rationale for doing an IEO, and specifically doing an IEO on one of the big exchanges?
Yeah. So our mainnet is now launched in private phase, and it's going to a public phase. So we're going to need to do a generation event for all of our coins and list it in exchanges. That's the way it goes. So we think this is a better way to do your first listing. So you're building some momentum around your launching process. So that's one thing. The second thing is that exchanges go through a very healthy due diligence process on who they want to list. And if they're doing an IEO and they're more committed, they're even doing a better screening. And you know what? It gives the little people, the retail investors, a fair chance in getting in certain prices and dynamics that only private investors had access to earlier.
Shachaf, thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure seeing you again.
All right, thank you.
From Coty, we go to ChromeAway.
And you guys are doing an IEO now?
Yes, on the 28th of May we're doing on Kucoin for this project. And if you're a developer, you could actually try to do those kind of applications already on a developer preview.
And if our users want more information, is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, you can go to chromia.com to read about relational blockchain and that kind of architecture. So yeah.
So there's another IEO happening. I mean, it seems that all the talk here, or all the new capital raising talk is around IEOs. If you have the guts to be investing in these kind of projects again, go and check it out.
And from ChromeAway, we talk to VideoCoin, but not just about IEOs. Also about the rise of the stablecoin enabling tokenization to take hold.
Now, Halsey, you are the founder of a project called VideoCoin, and I really don't want to talk too much specifically around coins because we're trying to avoid shilling coins. But as someone who's building one of the more astute projects in the space, how does that change your mindset when you start thinking about the crypto world and the real world converging? How does that change what you do on a day-to-day?
You have a service or you have a product and you want people to buy it. If in order to participate as a buyer of goods or services, you need to go to an exchange to buy money, and then you need to have that money that's volatile, and you need to hold that and use it for payments. This is what people originally thought Bitcoin was going to do for the consumer, and it didn't work. Bitcoin ended up having lots of value in many other ways, but it was not for buying a cup of coffee, right? That didn't happen. So a lot of these crypto projects are trying to use their crypto as a payment system, and I believe I think what's going to start to happen is people are going to start, and these stable coins at the beginning, people are going to start having their crypto project allow people to use stable coins or fiat for payment.
I can't see a major American corporation who wants to participate in a service that uses crypto. I can't see them going onto an exchange and buying, say, $2.5 million or $5 million or $10 million worth of tokens so that they can go and activate a network.
And the idea, that somebody like Fox, for instance, was going to go buy $250,000 worth of video coin and then put it on our service with the value going up and down. It was just, I mean, you don't even need to ask them that question. You know the answer before.
I've always said that, we'll get adoption when the users don't know that they're actually using crypto. It's got to be seamless and it's got to be in the background. And specifically in a business like yours where you're dealing with people like Fox, they're not going to go onto an exchange and buy crypto.
So it's no secret Binance has led the way in the IEO search, but also no secret that the exchange got hacked. And now with Cryptopia going down and into liquidation, there was a lot of talk around hacks right here at Consensus, and of course, how to protect exchanges. Coinbase noted that they've never been hacked.
There's a lot of really amazing companies in the space that are all trying to build secure solutions, and we certainly we wouldn't throw any stones. Like everybody, we have people trying to break into Coinbase all the time, and so it's something that we have to be very vigilant about. From the early days, we invested a lot in this and just we thought a lot about how can we get the majority of these funds off the internet, store them in cold storage.
BitGo then announced its major custodial service rollout, a sure to be boon for institutional entry into crypto.
More coverage of Consensus, more announcements, and more price action. That's the order of the week here at Consensus, and I've got Mike Belshi here from BitGo with another announcement. Mike, what's the big announcement?
Hey, we're very excited to bring to market our post-trade settlement services. So it sounds like a mouthful, but real quick, what that is a way to reduce counterparty risk with all trades, whether it's through an OTC or through an exchange.
So right now, when I want to buy something from an OTC, I send them money, and I hope that I'm going to get Bitcoin in return. That's quite a flawed system if you think about it.
Yeah, that doesn't typically happen in other industries, right? So, and at the retail level, we can kind of get our heads around it. If it's a $10,000 check or a $50,000 check, okay. But if we want to have institutions come into this market, how are you going to get that $250 million check? They don't just write that and expect to get the Bitcoin. So you need to have a better process.
So how have you guys solved this problem?
So BitGo has been doing the technology for a very long time, right? Since 2013, we do about 15% of the world's Bitcoin transactions at this point.
15% of the world's Bitcoin transactions go through
BitGo wallets.
BitGo wallets.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a big number.
It is, yeah. Building on top of that, we built a regulatory compliance solution. So this is a BitGo Trust company, which is regulated at the Division of Banking, South Dakota, and this is a full, custodian.
Is there a risk that something happens to BitGo?
There's no new risk here, right? You're already taking that risk when you take your money and you put it with Coinbase or you put it with Gemini, et cetera, right? So first off, we've got the regulatory angle. So that means the regulator knows whose accounts they are and can actually make sure those funds go back to you if anything happens to BitGo. Those other guys don't have that. Make sure that we have disaster recovery. Make sure that we actually do with the keys what we say we do with the keys. And on top of that, we layer $100 million of insurance.
$100 million in insurance. Also offering insurance to crypto holders, but across its entire exchange, is CGCX. Full disclosure, a crypto trader sponsor.
With me, I've got an exchange that actually insures clients' funds against all hacks and cyber attacks. Vin, How do you guys actually insure people against hacks?
So we converge our traditional business together with the new technology. So what we did was we insured the whole hot wallet against any cyber risks and attacks.
So you're not self-insuring this. I mean, this is insured by
a traditional insurance agency, which is reinsured by one of the top 10 reinsurance in the world.
How expensive is it to insure clients' trades?
So we created a business model where our transaction fee, which is comparable to the current market, and which includes insurance as an extra value added services to our users.
Now, usually when something sounds too good to be true, we tend to believe it may be too good to be true. All right, so let's talk about how this is actually insured.
Sure, man.
I think the first question is this a reputable insurance company that insures this exchange?
Oh, definitely. I work at an insurance company. I've been looking at insuring exchanges. I've selected exchanges that I want to work with, and CGCX is one of the partners that we took about 3 months of due diligence before committing into writing their policies. If their trading volume goes up, we are prepared to increase the limits covered for them. Yeah.
But you're talking about a premium, but his trading fees are as low as any of the other exchanges. He's very competitive. So I think my question is, where is this premium coming from?
The premium comes from the fees that CGCX earns. So a portion of the fees are paid as premium to us. Yeah.
So are you running on a lower margin than other exchanges? I mean, is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, if you look at the bottom line, we want to bring as much as more value to the users. So we factor in such a cost and we use that as a marketing budget within our book.
It does sound like crypto is becoming a more mature asset. If you guys are talking about insurance, probably sounds that the entire crypto industry will at some stage be insured.
Yeah, it should be.
So if the entire crypto industry is to be insured, one exchange, another crypto trader sponsor wants to revolutionize the way stablecoins are being used.
Consensus 2019 is all about announcements, and these announcements are the same announcements that are pushing up the prices of crypto. And now we've got an announcement from our main sponsor, eToro. Yoni, what are your big announcements here at Consensus?
So we're launching more stablecoins here at Consensus. So we announced recently we launched eToro X, which is our tokenized assets exchange, and we're adding to a total of 12 stablecoins, including gold stablecoin, GoldX, silver stablecoin, SilverX, the Chinese yuan stablecoin, and a ruble stablecoin, and that's added to the dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, pound, yen, etc.
Okay, now I have a whole lot of questions for you. First of all, why so many stablecoins? What do we need so many stablecoins for?
So it's a long-term view of the market where we believe there's going to be convergence between crypto markets and capital markets. Our view is that the entire capital markets industry is going to get tokenized. So we're gradually building basically bridges between the new world of finance or the blockchain space and the traditional finance space, which is, first of all, fiat currencies, commodities, then looking also at equities and other assets as well.
Can you arbitrage the foreign currency markets just using the stable coins?
In theory, yes. So we're also launching traditional like euro dollar and gold dollar on the exchange itself. So it's a crypto asset exchange, but it's a tokenized assets exchange.
Okay, now where is the fiat actually stored? Is it stored centralized? I mean, can people have the same concerns as they have on Tether, where one central organization controls?
Well, it is centralized. We're a regulated entity, right? We've been in the space for a while. We're a large company with $1 trillion volume, 700 employees, raised more than $162 million and profitable. It's very similar to when people deposit funds into eToro, right? So if you deposit fiat money into eToro, you see dollars in your account, right? So we obviously hold the money. But here in this case, you can actually take those tokens out into your ledger and you can basically send them to your friend, you can send them overseas, and you can basically use the tokenized assets of eToro as payment channel for yourself.
That is amazing. Yoni Asha, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure having you on Crypto Trader again. Thank you.
Getting a lot of attention from crypto traders was Andrew Yang, one of now 23 Democratic presidential candidates, but he was also a Silicon Valley exec advocating universal basic income, and he would make blockchain an issue on the ballot.
So we have our work cut out for us, and I believe the blockchain is one of the key technologies that could help us construct an economy that would actually stand the test of time in the 21st century, that integrates both meaning and what we currently consider monetary value. In many ways, this community, it's why I love being here with you all. You all are like the vanguard of the evolution of the species. And we really do not have that much time to evolve, because like there's an evolution and a devolution that are unfortunately happening in different segments of our society, and we need to come together and then try and correct the de-evolution as fast as possible. Was that too much?
Wow, what a statement. And a round of applause for all those attending Consensus. And all those